Donald Trump is going to prison.
You can't bully the feds themselves. He's going to have to plea, or I'm predicting he's going to get charged and very likely will spend time in jail.
He could end up in prison.
It doesn't look very good for Donald Trump.
Okay, well, that didn't work out well. 1 year ago, they tried to take away his freedom. But earlier today, President Trump walked through the doors of the DOJ headquarters in Washington, laying down his vision to restore law and order and vowing to end the weaponization of government once and for all.
We're turning the page on 4 long years of corruption, weaponization, and surrender to violent criminals, and we're restoring fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. The DOJ and the FBI will once again become the premier crime-fighting agencies on the face of the earth. I promised my wife I would never use a bad word, so just a little bad. The case against me was bullshit, and she correctly dismissed it.
President Trump also vowing to crack down on violent criminals and the liberal prosecutors who enabled them.
I have no higher mission as President of the United States than to end this killing and stop this lawbreaking and to making America safe again. Instead of having Marxist prosecutors who want to put police officers in handcuffs and go after a police officer rather than a criminal, I appointed patriotic, tough-on-crime warriors who will partner with police to put dangerous offenders behind bars, put them in jail.
You know, Charlie, before I get into the substance of this, think about what it was like and how many people tried to prevent former President Donald Trump to become president again and, you know, to put him in jail to make sure that he would never be around again.
And of course, we're seeing why, because Democrats have completely run out of any viable issue that connects with voters, and even within the Republican Party. And when, they wanted to keep him from taking over that leadership. And it goes back to 2015, when Donald Trump first launched his presidential campaign. And at the highest levels of the Obama administration, they made the decision to spy on Donald Trump and his campaign. And from their perspective, it worked because they maintained that throughout the entire first term. The political press, the media in Washington, focused entirely on the proceeds of that spying on his campaign, done, again, at the highest level of the Obama administration. And it defined his first term. And then, of course, it got him out of the White House by 2020. He was impeached twice on idiotic, fake, made-up things. And then why wouldn't they keep pursuing it? It worked for them. And so then they spent the next 4 years pursuing the exact same strategy. And in the end, it obviously, because he is the tough guy that he is, he managed to come out. He managed to beat them. And they are left with absolutely nothing except crying because he walked down to DOJ and gave a speech today. You know, the truth is, Katie, that the president indicated that he was going to end the weaponization and the politicization of the Department of Justice. But is that enough? Because as Charlie just referenced, Jim Comey signing unverified affidavits, going before the FISA court, going again, re-upping his spying on America. Does there have to be more consequence?
I would argue that the weaponization went back to 2010 during the Tea Party movement, when the IRS and Department of Justice worked together to go after conservative grassroots activists with the power of the Justice Department and the federal government under Barack Obama. They got away with it. There's no accountability. So then they moved into 2015 and did even more illegal activity and spying against the Trump campaign, moved that through his first presidency. And there's a big difference, to answer your question, between retaliation, weaponization, and accountability. And when he goes to DOJ today and talks about how he's getting out these prosecutors who engaged in this behavior, is because he doesn't want this to continue on. They're holding people accountable for what happened, because this is such a stain on the American system of justice. We are we should be the crown jewel of the entire world in terms of fairness. That's why we're different than the rest of the world. We're not supposed to have kangaroo courts or banana republic style justice. We're supposed to have real justice. And that was completely destroyed over the course of the past 4 years under Biden and during the Obama administration. So accountability is a very different thing. One thing I also love that he said was that he's back in Washington now, and he wants the capital of America to be clean and safe. It belongs to all Americans, and I don't think that we should discredit how much that actually means in terms of the pride of the country.
Well, you know what? It's not only pride, Harold, but it's the broken windows theory. The more this kind of low-level crime, whether it's graffiti or anything else, you have this aura of lawlessness. But reorienting the Department of Justice to its main mission, which is the prosecution of crime, is a good thing, don't you think?
I do. I have no issue with the president going over to the Justice Department today and laying out what he laid out. I do take a little umbrage at I'm just different in how I accept and how I gloat about a win. He won. Everything you said, Charlie, and everything that Katie said, the real display of power and confidence, the real jury spoke in November and returned him to the White House after all of these things, whatever it is you want to say. Two, I don't like the personal stuff. I agree with the president in this regard. There are things at the criminal division, the way they go about pursuing prosecutions at the Justice Department, that shouldn't be changed just because of President Trump. There are a number of Americans who don't have the resources, certainly don't have the kind of determination that this president had to fight those things, nor did they have the political support that this president had. And they have been prosecuted by the Justice Department. They should reform the way the criminal division and other divisions that the Justice Department goes about conducting their business, not just making it about President Trump. Because the ultimate told you so was him winning in November. And I salute him, applaud him for that. I just wish he didn't make it so personal all of the time.
Greg, I'm glad he made it personal because nobody, of course, has been faced with the kind of targeted, vicious, unjustified prosecutions that the Democrats engaged in.
I am so disgusted by what Harold said. This isn't about winning, Harold. It's about imprinting the memory of this event on history. Because as we know, history is always rewritten by the losers. The history. If you think media is fake, what do you think about the people? Where do you think the historians came from? They came from media. So we have to. No one else is going to do this. He has to do it. We have to do it. What you don't hear right now, what's that silence? It's all the people in the media who tried to take him out. They aren't saying, oh, we were wrong. Oh, whoopsie daisy, Biden has dementia. They aren't doing that. So we have to. They've disappeared. They've gone away. How is this not a fable for the ages, an inspirational lesson to everyone who has felt targeted in their lives, who felt outgunned and outnumbered? If this were a Democrat, there would already be 12 movies made about this man, the most consequential political triumph in American history. And Hollywood and media are staying home in their pajamas, weeping into their Funyuns. And so that's why we have to do this. It's not gloating. It's a reminder that this third act of this Trump movie cannot be forgotten. If there was justice, we should be able to parade every hack on TV, from the Morning Joes to the Daily Show guy on camera, and they literally, I don't mean metaphorically, they have to eat their words. We actually take their words verbatim, we bake cookies, and we write their words on the cookies, and then they have to sit down. It's not even pay-per-view, it's free. And we just force them to eat their words, every single word.
But what if they like their cookies?
Yeah, I thought you were
Well, that might happen with Stelter.
But why not reform the Justice Department for everybody?
Well, okay. Can I respond to that?
Go ahead.
Why not for everybody?
You saw two things going on there. One was the personal justice, Trump. But he also was talking about American justice as well. He's focused the attention on illegal immigration, on crime, on ending foreign wars. He has taken the concern, the boutique white liberal concerns of race, identity, and trans, and he's put it on the things that benefit everybody, everything that has been ignored under the Biden administration. Again, to use the neighbor analogy, Biden was the shut-in who let his front yard just grow over while he's cooking meth in the kitchen.